Well, hello and welcome back, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, new call time. And as you can see, you're going to be getting the raw me on Tuesday mornings. So, welcome to the team call. We are here to help you see what you need to do in the business building activities and the different behaviors to be able to build your business so that you can build your dreams. So, every single week, we'll be meeting you here. Same Zoom information, and you can always find the recordings on the YouTube channel. It is Team Freedom Reigns on YouTube. The QR code on this screen will take you directly there. So if you are not yet subscribed or getting notifications, make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell, and you will see every time that we upload these calls, as well as when we do opportunity presentations, we do upload those as well. So thanks again for being here with us today. New team or the new time for the team call. So just to go through some really quick announcements, we are already in the last week of March. Can you
Crazy.
believe that? We have got the closing the month call on the 25th. It's at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And this month, we have Kelly Lupsha. She's going to be coming in and walking you through some reports, walking you through some information to be able to help you close out the month as strong as you can. So first of all, has your own personal subscription processed or ready to process? These are the things that you want to make sure that you're looking at. How about the subscriptions of your personally enrolled customers and consultants? Have they all gone through properly? How about who in your organization or who do you know that is close to the next rank that you can help get there? And who is close to the next seller level? And who's doing meetings, right? Because we still have a ton of time to be able to do presentations, to be able to get this information in front of more people, because that is the business building activity, right? And then, of course, on Thursday, Dondee and I will be doing the virtual opportunity presentation, helping people learn how they can start their own micro franchise, partnered with a publicly traded company in the health and wellness longevity field that's been paying commission since 2009. That company is LifeVantage. And you are having this opportunity to be able to invite your prospects every Thursday night. It is 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It is the same Zoom ID and passcode every single time. So please take note of that, put it into your calendar, and start having this as something that you are regularly inviting people to come and see. There's a lot of opportunity presentations out there, so it's not just one option. Make sure that you have, two or three that you know of every single week that you can be inviting people to. And then that way, when they say, oh, that time doesn't work, it's like, well, great. How about this one? Right? You've got multiple options to be able to share with them. So every Thursday night, and these are the same Zoom details. And then again, we are coming up really fast onto Momentum Academy in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is April 16th through the 18th, and it is going to be where your breakthrough can happen. It's at events. We're going to be talking a lot about events today, because they are so important. We were reminded of that this last Saturday. But at Momentum Academy, this is special. This is where we come together as a corporate, at least, here our market in the United States, we all come together. We have general sessions where we get to learn from field leaders, from corporate executives, and there's going to be an amazing keynote speaker too that's going to have you being active, guys. There's going to be workshops that you get to attend that's going to be pertinent to wherever you are in your business right now, as well as the gatherings that always happen. The social that corporate puts on, which is amazing. DJ Rancan is always there keeping everything, the beats alive. And then team gatherings, group gatherings, and all of the belief building that happens. You have to be at these events to be able to get it. It is not something that someone can come back and tell you. You have to be there to get it inside of you. Okay. So if you're not registered yet, QR code there on the right side of the screen. Get registered today. Get your room, get your flights if necessary, or plan to drive. Whatever you need to do, find roommates. I mean, how many did you guys have in your room the first attempt? I bet you attended.
22.
22 people in one hotel room, people sleeping in the closets, people sleeping in the tub, right? But they knew how important it was to be there. So let's get people there to Momentum Academy in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, guys. So we have been doing this really amazing, and I know I'm just like saying it myself, but the Activated Entrepreneur series that is going on. We're in week 4 now. If you have not seen weeks 1 through 3, Guess where you can find it? You can find it on the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel. Make sure that you go and check it out because they really do. These lessons really kind of stack on top of each other. But this week is going to be really important because it's going to help you understand how you get what you really need to be able to have the leveraged income that you started your own micro franchise for. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it on over to the amazing Dr. Dondee Nettles to lead this call.
Thank you, Marcy. And is there anything other than the raw you?
Well, I can have makeup on and I can have my hair done.
That's the
Let's just take
polish.
that.
So okay, so I get it. So it's the exterior we're talking about. You're always raw. But welcome everybody, and this is really about the duplication engine because if there's no duplication happening in your business, then your business isn't growing. Like Marcy said, you don't have a business. And I'm going to share a story about another person, a presidential or a former pro 10 by the name of Gabe Pearson. Him and his wife Jill are amazing leaders out of Florida, and I'll never forget the experience because we joined about the same time. And me being in a healthcare background, he was a personal trainer and former bodybuilder and was working with businesses to help them implement corporate wellness programs. So we had a lot in common and we kind of, I would say, secretly competed with each other, or at least I did with him. I'm not sure if he was ever competing with me, but I remember very pivotally at an event. A weekend training event like we just had this past weekend, which is now called LifeVantage Academy. He was very frustrated. He says, I'm stuck at Pro 5. What kind of Pro 5 was the equivalent of what is it, SC3 now? Or no?
No,
MC3.
it's MC2.
MC2. And he was saying, I'm stuck. I've been here for 6 months. I'm doing everything. What do we need to do? And Blue Elam, who was my sponsor, who was not his sponsor, simply said to him, how many presentations are happening in your business? How many presenters are sharing this information with other people? And he says, well, that's simple. It's me. And so meaning him. He was inviting everybody to come to the weekly meeting that he was presenting. And it was a big meeting, 80 to 100 people each time. But that's how he wanted it. He was kind of controlling his little microcosm and inviting people to come so that he could present because he's this polished speaker with this incredible health background and he's helping everybody. And it was working. And he says, that's your problem. There's not enough duplication. In fact, there's no duplication happening in your business. You are the only one presenting. And until that changes, you're going to be stuck. And so these events happen every single month where I witnessed this. And so Blue challenged Gabe to start duplicating, hand the baton to other people and having them do duplications or them do meetings. So then one person doing a presentation literally just doubled the duplication in his business. And then when another one, it tripled it and another one quadrupled it. Well, by the time the following month had happened, there was 5 people other than him doing presentations on at least a weekly basis. And it wasn't for, I think, 2 months until he hit the next rank. But the key is duplication. So, and here's the other thing about it. If it's not duplicatable, it's not sustainable. And that is exactly the point. When Gabe was up there in his very polished professional manner and people were enrolling in his business, don't get me wrong, and people were enrolling in other people's business, in his business, but he was the only presenter. That is not sustainable because there's only 24 hours in a day and he was only doing presentations 1 time per week. So 4 presentations in a month is in his entire business. And then when it multiplied by 6, if they did it once a week, that's 24. 6 additional people or 5 additional people, him making 6, if they all did it once a week, it just went to 24 presentations and so on and so on and so on. So if it is not duplicatable, it's not sustainable. So it has to be what? Simple.
Simple.
Confidence grows when systems are simple. And we got a major dose of reality this past weekend at the LifeVantage Academy because I, like Gabe, I like to make polished slides. These slides right here. I spent a lot of time creating these slides because I like them to look just so. But that's not sustainable. If everybody had to do this, now this is a training. This is not a presentation. Although it's a presentation training. When we're talking about the business, the more simple we can keep it, the more duplicatable it is. And I had a major aha moment. I remember when all we had before laptops, before projectors, before PowerPoint presentations, I had an easel, I had a whiteboard, I had a marker, and I had an eraser. That was it. And I remember setting up the easel, putting on the whiteboard, talking about the 6 components of this business, the company, the products, the timing, the trends, the compensation plan, and the system. And guess what?
The 23 sextillion.
Free radicals and all that. Yeah, I brought some of my own stats into it, of course. But what I realized is back then there was presentation. All we would have to do is go into Big Blue Calendar, and every day was completely filled across the country. And this was something also interesting. Those LifeVantage Academies, which we just had this past weekend, there was probably, what, I'm 35, 40 people in the room.
37, I think. Oh, at that event?
Yeah.
Our event? Oh, no, there was way more than that.
I counted when we were, well, with all the executives up there, there was 32 in the room. So 32 in the room plus the executives, so maybe 40, or no, 45 maybe. So we had about 45 to 50 people, whatever it is. It was less than 60. Those meetings monthly used to be 400 and 500, and there was 32 markets. Mm-hmm. There's now 4. We were just added as the 4th market, and there was less than 60 in the room. So where momentum is coming back. Why? Because it's becoming duplicatable. It's becoming simple, and confidence is growing. And that is going to now spread across the country, because I feel excited that we've got the leadership, the corporate leadership, the field leadership are united in ways that I haven't seen in probably 10 years. And this is coming back, guys. So extremely, I don't know.
Well, and before we go on though, one thing I wanted to talk about duplication is that if you're the only one that's doing meetings, your business that you started to create leveraged income is becoming a job. Because if you don't show up, your business isn't growing and you're not making that money, right?
Yeah.
So getting more people presenting is the goal. And so as you're watching this, be thinking about, okay, how can I become a presenter? And if you're willing to raise your hand, we want to help you do that, because the more presentations that are going on, the faster your business is going to grow, and then the faster LifeVantage is going to grow.
Mm-hmm. So why overtraining kills duplication? Because people don't duplicate complexity. They duplicate simplicity. And so, and I've already made this decision in my own head, and I haven't really shared this with Marci yet, but when people are at a presentation and it's a PowerPoint, maybe they don't have a laptop. Maybe they don't have PowerPoint on their laptop, and they certainly don't have that PowerPoint presentation. So there's already 3 things right there that are going to make it more complex for that person, and that person is not likely to do what you're doing. Because one of the 3 things that happens for a prospect, they ask 3 things. Is this real? Is this person legit? And can I do what that person is doing? Because how many times have you heard people say, I was in the room and I thought to myself, if that person could do it, I'm going to knock this thing out of the park. Versus, oh my gosh, I could never do what that person is doing. I don't have a computer. I don't have a projector. I don't have a PowerPoint screen. And I certainly don't have all the knowledge that that person has. I'm out. Kind of like the sharks on Shark Tank. I'm out when the offer doesn't look good. But when I have a whiteboard and a marker and an eraser and an easel, almost everybody can go, you know what? I can do that. I just maybe don't have a whiteboard, but total combined, maybe $40 of an investment, and you can be in business, versus a laptop, a projector, a PowerPoint presentation, the knowledge that comes behind it. So when it is duplicatable, it's because it's simple. But when it's complex, nothing is duplicating. And so you can take that approach, and this little teeny domino will fall into the one ahead of it and ahead of it and ahead of it. And before you know it, massive walls are coming down, meaning massive problems that people have are finding solutions because there's multiple voices. With one person, if you don't know, again, the 6 degrees of separation, you know someone who knows 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 everybody else in the world. You can connect it through 6 different separations. If you're the only one doing it, you're that little domino, and it's not going to go anywhere. But if more voices and more duplication, because it's simple, is happening, and you focus on the clear steps, the ITT, the invite, the tool, the team, and then the follow-up within 24 hours, and then handling objections and concerns, and then ultimately enrolling them, either as a customer or a consultant. But how does that work? You've got to use the 3-way validation. So the message needs to be simple. The process needs to be simple, and the person who is the prospect asking the questions, even if it's a no, and Pam Gordon said something this past weekend at the training. She said, no doesn't mean no. It means I'm not ready yet to make a decision because I don't have enough information. And if you are the sole source of information and you're answering all their questions, you're going to answer their questions and exclude them from your business because they will say, I don't know all of that. I don't have time to learn all of that. And all of that information that I just got answers to my question is somewhat overwhelming coming from one person. But if you know, even if you know the answer, you know, that's a great question. Let me show you how this system works. Let me get someone on the line who can answer that question right for you in the best way possible for you. And then they're going, oh, there's a system of support here. There's other people. That's what three-way validation is about, and it's why it's so critically important. And then take immediate action. Because once you've got a presentation in the hands of someone, whether they see a pre-recorded one, they're live on an opportunity meeting, they're going to have questions. And if you delay, that person you may have even wet their whistle, you may have primed the pump, you may have piqued their interest, but if you don't follow up and there's a delay, they may just enroll with someone else. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I'm going to bring up Nick. Marci and I were doing a presentation in New England at the Chamber of Commerce. And there was a guy who was in attendance there, one of our consultants, and a guest walked in, a guest on his list that he had already shared information with, but did not follow up, came in as a guest of another person. And guess what? At our meeting, they got their questions answered and they signed up in the other guy's business, even though the guy sitting next to us showed it to him first. What was the difference? He didn't follow up. So delays are going to lead to lost prospects of other people. And if you know the other person and they come into the same room with you and they make eye contact with you, they're thinking, this is the same thing you were telling me about. I never got a call back from you. It must not have been that important. And so they're going to make a decision to go with someone else. And that's like ripping a scab off a wound. That is not easy, but it comes with delay. So don't delay. And as confidence builds in this system, because you're getting them in front of people, you're getting their questions answered using three-way validation, and you're following up immediately, people are going to get it. Because here's the thing we know that is driving this whole thing. There are problems, big problems in the world. And we have solutions, big solutions to those big problems. But if the people don't know about it, ignorance does not make decisions. Yeah. Knowledge makes decisions. And how the only way that happens is ITT, follow up, handle the objections and concerns, and then enroll them into your business as a consultant or a customer, following the three-way validation and following immediacy. And as your confidence builds, the rewards get bigger and bigger. And those big dominoes and big people with big groups of people with big problems are going to find big solutions. And that all means duplication in your business.
Yeah. And, you know, piggybacking on what Dondee was saying about Nick's story, right? And having someone else enroll the person that he had initially talked to. I mean, think about it for yourself. Think about all of the different people in your history with LifeVantage that you've talked to that maybe you just didn't follow up long enough for them to be able to make a decision with you. Think about each one of them as one of these dominoes. We're looking at dominoes on the screen right now, right? And think about, you know, how maybe when you were younger, you played with dominoes and you set them up in these really cool designs, whether it's in, you know, the spiral design, or whether it was going up hills and down hills, or whatever it was. You can set up or have the conversations with all these different types of people, right? But if you don't have something that triggers the movement to have those dominants then go through and move and lay down and push the other domino down, moving forward to make progress so that you can actually see what you had been setting up the whole time. If you don't have a trigger that knocks down that first domino, those conversations do nothing. Right. They just sit there until somebody else comes along and becomes that trigger. And so what the trigger is you taking action, right? It's you following up. It's you asking for the close. It's you asking someone to be your third-party validator so that they can ask for the close for you. It is you taking action that is going to be the trigger that starts to get the momentum moving in your business. And so the key to it is that simplicity. I mean, almost every single slide is going to talk about the simplicity that we need to keep, right? Mm-hmm. So just keep in mind, you have been setting up this beautiful domino effect, but the dominoes are sitting there right now. It's time to pull the trigger and take action.
Amen, Raw Marci. So the 30-minute onboarding formula, this is critically important. And if you have the book GoPro, by Eric Worre. He talks about the pregame interview. And this is something I did not include, but I'm a very big fan of that. So if you have the book, check it out. It's a kind of a question answer beforehand, getting people primed for this step right here. But the 30-minute onboarding formula when you've got a new consultant in your business. And here's what you don't want to do. Do not explain everything. Plug them into the system. Now, will eventually they want to know everything? Of course. But how do you eat an elephant? Or how do you eat an elephant? Let me enunciate that.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. You don't want to overwhelm, especially your new person. You don't want to overwhelm them. If anything, you want to underwhelm them, really, where they're thinking, wow, this is super simple. I can do this. That's exactly the point. But in the first 10 minutes, when you sit down with your new consultant, cast the vision of whatever that looks like for you. And it may be different than I look at it. But the key is cast the vision and then help them tap into their why. What was it about what they saw or heard that inclined them to join your business? Find out what that is and then drive deeper into it. Well, what about that? What about that it made you join? What are you thinking in the future? And keep drilling down until you hit the trigger. Then once that's been established, and that will typically take about 10 minutes, unless this is just a massive, gigantic thinker, then take the time. But find out what their why is. And then go right into the simplicity of the system, ITT. You simply invite, and here's a bunch of invites. Figure out one or make your own. Invite to the information. When people have questions, because they always do, then you send them a tool that answers the questions. Do not answer the question. Now, that may be a three-way call. That's a great tool. It may be a pre-recorded video. That's a great tool. Whatever, it may be a website, maybe your LifeVantage website and a product link or a scientific paper, whatever it is. Then the next is the team. Help them understand they're never doing this alone unless they choose to. And why would you do that? That will just ensure your frustration and early exit. So ITT the system, let them know the simplicity of it, and then get into the databasing. From 15 to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, take about 10 minutes to develop their database. Who is it? First of all, get to the, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're stranded out on the road somewhere with a flat tire, who are the first people you're going to call? Those are the people at the top of the list because those are the people they can count on, even if they're just customers. But start there. And then who do you know on a first name basis? Who do you know on a facial recognition basis? Like the person at the bank, the person at the gas station that you deal with, whatever the case may be, you know them, like even if it was just a, hey, what's up? You know them by facial recognition. Put those people, if it's just guy at the bank, gal at the grocery store, whatever it is, build that database and then start using your tools to take the next step to do what? Get the ITT system to that person or those people as quickly as possible. And then the next 5 minutes of that, to round out that 30 minutes, the launch activity, your invite calls. And this is what I would invite you to do and almost tell you this is the non-negotiable part. Make those invite calls with them. In fact, I like doing the first one myself, have them call that person. And then when that person answers, if they do, say, you know, I'm Dr. Nettles. I'm here with Marci. We are in this business together. You are a friend of hers. I would love to share something with you. Do you got a couple minutes? And then show them how easy it is. And then just be there while they do it. Hey, when they, depending upon how it goes, coach them a little bit. You could have maybe said this a little differently. Don't act so desperate or whatever. Separate yourself. This may or may not be for you, but I've got something incredible I'd love to share with you that I'm really excited about. And just do those kinds of things. Make those invite calls. And then what are you inviting them to? You should already, within the first 48 hours, 72 max, as someone gets their consultant number, they must have a launch meeting, even if it's Zoom, but preferably in person. In person, especially when there's a stranger who's sharing this information with your prospects, there is power as a prospect and looking in the eyes of the person sharing the information, getting the handshake, feeling their validity. Is this a true, authentic person? Because on Zoom, you don't get that. You don't get eye contact. You don't get the feel or the vibe. You don't see the body language all the time. You may be looking at the slideshow and not looking at the presenter. And so all of that is critically important. So that first meeting, ideally in person, Zoom as a last ditch, but walk them through the process, holding their hand through the entire thing and letting them know they are never alone unless they choose to be. And why would you do that? So the 48-hour momentum window, because speed builds Momentum. I love that dragster right there, or that
So
funny
cool.
car. When I typed that into ChatGPT, told it exactly what I wanted, and it came out with that, I was like, yes, that is exactly the way I wanted that to look. The green light is going, the tires are spinning, smoke is flying. This is the launch within the first 48 hours. So new builders are the most excited in their first 48 hours because whatever inspired them to join your team, they've got it. Capitalize on that right now before that wanes. That's also why immediacy is so critically important. Use the momentum to get their first invites and their first exposures out there. Why? Because guess what will or deflate them quicker than anything else? No's from the people that they love and care about. But in advance, remind them if they say no, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. It's not 12 o'clock for them. Keep sending the information. If they say no, or when they say no, because they will, there's an entire book written called Go for No, because if that's your expectation, when someone says yes, you're surprised. Expect the no's, but don't take them personally. Because when someone says no, as Pam Gordon just reminded us this past weekend, it's just not yet. I don't have enough information, or it's not the right time for me. I'm doing well. My health is well. I've got a great job. But you never know when they lose their job or they get a bad diagnosis, bam, they're going to be your customer or their consultant. It's just that's why follow up is so critically important. So the momentum, the first invites and their exposures, getting the information in front of them, your first post if you've got a social media presence, or announcements to your friends and family. I got excited about something. I'd love to share this with you. Can you at least take a look and share with me your feedback? And then speed creates big belief, especially when it yields customers or consultants, and confidence. When it starts to work for you, you become bulletproof. And then when someone says, oh, that's not for me, that's one of those pyramid schemes, or is that one of those things where you have to hassle your friends and family? And are there opinions out there? Yeah, of course there are. And are some of them valid? Of course they are. Mm-hmm. But the key is once you start getting people in your business, the quicker you get people in and the quicker they are duplicating, the quicker you dismiss all of that criticism that maybe even you shared. And I speak from a place of that. I didn't think there was anything legit about this industry at all. I thought it was illegal. And I hated it because I got pestered so much, and it was all about making money quick. And I just saw I was like, no, I don't drink that Kool-Aid. I'm sorry. Until I saw LifeVantage and the products that we have that wouldn't put my professional or personal name in jeopardy by getting behind them. And it changed everything for me. And I am so grateful that Blue Elam followed up. I'm so grateful that he shared that invitation with me and that he didn't. I said no a bunch, but he didn't. He knew. Innately, he knew, and he kept following up because this woman came into my life because of his follow-up. My life changed because of his follow-up. My kids had a dad who was home with them for 15 years because of his follow-up and him not believing that my no was a no. It was not for now, or it really wasn't. It was for now. I just didn't have enough information to overcome my bias of network marketing. And thank God Blue was consistent with me, and he never stopped giving this information. Mm-hmm. So your 48-hour momentum window could literally change someone's, not just their life, their legacy, their descendants, their kids and their grandkids' life. And that's what Blue's follow-up did for me. So speed creates belief. Like I had the exact opposite of the belief I have now because one man cared enough to follow up, and he didn't even know me. That's the point. I was a stranger he heard me on a radio show. Didn't know me from anybody. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of power you have, especially with the people who love and care about you the most. So take the time, build the momentum. Speed builds momentum, and your confidence will become bulletproof.
Yeah, so good. So good. You know, when we were in Salt Lake the last time with Tyler Daniels, and one of the invites he uses that I thought was so powerful it's like, I finally found something that's going to help me not have to work until I'm 90. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in too? I mean, because in this day and age, people don't have an out. They don't see an end to having to go to their jobs or working at Walmart or whatever it is that they're going to have to do to supplement their income. So guys, build your belief. And by the way, the best places to build your belief is at in-person events. So make sure that you're registered for Momentum Academy in Vegas. You got to be there. Plus, we can't wait to see you.
Amen. And so the Launch Fast checklist, consider this a 14-day sprint. So your Launch Fast checklist must include your first invites. Get them together, make them happen. And then schedule the exposures, the follow-up. So when you are making an invite, have a time set in the next day, and worst case scenario, 48 hours to answer those questions, to send them tools. So when you're making invites, have the next day, have a block of information open to answer questions and send tools. And the next day too, you want to make sure you build that in. And then create three-way call support. A list of people who in your upline, crossline, downline, other consultants can you use each other as a reference point or as a three-way call request. We probably have more, well, we have
Ours
almost
is
zero.
line.
They're all crossline or downline. We have very in Blue, even though, God love him, he's a presidential, his schedule is packed. I very rarely do I ever get a response back, let alone a three-way call. And I'm not criticizing. That's our choice. We will eventually get to that place too, but it's not there. That's the beauty of Life Manage. Everybody works together. And so the power of a cross-line relationship is invaluable to you. And why would someone help you who's not part of your line of support? Because we all want to get to executive. And once you get there, you tap into what the company is doing. So there's incentive to do those calls. Build that list, get that three-way call support list, and then put a text thread together with those people. Hey, I'm sending out invites. Who can be available for a three-way call? Who can be available to answer questions? And then send it out there. And then I will, if we're available, we will definitely include us in that, please. And include people that are cross-line to you, downline to you, but don't include them unless you've already preset the arrangement and make the invite. That's a great opportunity for you to call fellow consultants and say, hey, look, can we be each other's three-way party validation? It builds credibility, it builds authenticity, and it builds strong relationships. Do that. And then be aware of the boards and resources that Marci's put together. We've got incredible resources to handle all of the objections, all of the concerns, all of your education in boards. And then join the team chats and Facebook groups if you desire, because it's a way of staying plugged in, seeing what other people are doing, and building your three-way call list and your exposure list. And then use that 14-day sprint. Daily outreach, meaning sending invitations and follow-ups daily. 5 exposures per day, meaning 5 conversations started. And then if they're interested, send them a pre-recorded information. Send them whatever. And I would say send them an entire presentation that's pre-recorded. Or if depending upon, you saw a post that they made that they're down on their luck financially, send them something about our micro franchise and how it can give them leveraged income. Or they're talking about their health, give them something that of a product video or whatever. Figure out a way that it's applicable to them so that they accept it rather than resist it. And 5 exposures per day, follow up daily, and invite to the weekly Thursday opportunity meeting. Start spreading the word. Every Thursday, we're doing a presentation here, and we're going to make it duplicatable. We're going to make it simple, and we're going to make it concise so people can say, you know what? I can do that. And I want to be a part of that company. They're going in the direction I want to go. And then you can obviously use the meetings that are pre-recorded. We've got one at, what is it? So it's on.
Did you upload it to Biohacking Aging?
I hope I did.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that yet,
Yeah.
but it will be up on biohackingaging.com. Yet you can always find them on the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel because it is there. All right, you got everything?
Done.
All right, guys. So this was week 4 of the series. We've got 2 more weeks in this series to help you be that the activated entrepreneur in building your business and having a simple process to be able to follow, to be able to build your micro franchise where you're partnered with a publicly traded company in the health and wellness longevity field that's been paying commission since 2009. Can you tell that that's my elevator speech, guys? Do you have your elevator speech? Create your elevator speech because it's powerful and people get curious when you start talking that way. Okay. All right, guys, we are so grateful that you were here with us. Remember, on the 25th, we've got the end of the month call. Get your teams on there, get crossline people on there that may not know about it, because this is the time for us to be locking arms and moving forward together.
Yes.
Well, so let's stop this recording here somewhere. I love it when I do things in the opposite direction, right?